Hi everyone, Sláinte. I'm Brendan and I want to talk to you today about a destination very close to my heart. Can you guess where? That's right, bonnie Scotland. I'm often asked what is the best and safest destination to travel to post-COVID to keep families as safe as possible. I think that Scotland's unique in that unlike other destinations where you're drawn to the cities, London, Paris, Rome spring to mind. With Scotland, you're drawn to the great outdoors, the mountains and the lochs of the Highlands. So today, I'd like to talk to you about my favourite places in Scotland growing up, to visit, what to see, what to do there, and some of the best places to stay in. No doubt you're going to fly into Edinburgh, and so I think a day or two there is more than enough, either at the beginning or at the end of your stay. Certainly worth visiting Edinburgh Castle and listening to the many pipers along the way. But if you're concerned about mixing with crowds, it wouldn't be the end of the world if you didn't get to see the castle from the inside. There are hundreds of castles in Scotland and plenty of pipers. So growing up in Scotland, and even to this day, three main areas stand out for me as being very special. The CAIRNGORMS, a mountain range in the eastern Highlands of Scotland, just north of Edinburgh. Then over to the west, just north of Glasgow, we find LOCH LOMOND and the TROSSACHS, often referred to as the gateway to the Highlands. And then just north and to the west of this, we find Skye and the raw Western Highlands. Right, first up the CAIRNGORMS. And for those who are avid skiers, you've probably heard of this area, and Aviemore more specifically. Apart from being a mountain range, the CAIRNGORMS is also a national park. And so other than the walking, hiking, mountain biking or climbing, it's worth visiting LOCH Sheepdog Farm to experience the traditional working day of a sheepdog, or go along and watch the reindeer run. 150 reindeer running free since 1952. You can watch their run at different times of the day and get a chance to get close up and personal, summer and winter. So for me, Aviemore and Pitlochry are the must-see towns in this area. Pitlochry is home to the Pitlochry Dam and the salmon fish ladder. This is a unique experience and one I loved as a child, watching the salmon return to where they were born in order to spawn their young. The ladder was built to help the salmon climb the dam wall. 34 pools, aquariums built alongside the dam to help the salmon navigate their way upstream. 3 resting pools give the weaker salmon the opportunity to catch their breath. Within the CAIRNGORMS National Park, there are many castles, including Kildrummy, Corgarth, Balmoral, Braemar, Clare and Drummond Castle, and even more distilleries for the Scotch whisky lovers amongst you. It's worth mentioning that on your way up from Edinburgh to Aviemore, Brewer Castle is very popular. In this area, Glen Eagles Hotel is my must-stay property. The most popular Scottish activities here are falconry, shooting, gun dog handling, archery, fishing, golfing, horse riding, off-road driving for adults and kids alike in the mini Land Rovers, and of course playing with the ferrets. You seriously wouldn't need to leave this property for 4 to 5 days. The Trossachs, or Scotland in miniature, is not too far north of Glasgow, and within a few miles you'll find towering peaks, deep wooded glens, babbling streams and rivers which run into Loch Lomond. This is Rob Roy country for those who know their history or have seen the movie. In this area, it's worth taking some downtime to enjoy nature and experience the wildlife from the lands or from the loch itself. Visit cute little Scottish towns and villages, waterfalls, viewpoints, or for the older kids, I'd take a sedgeway safari around the loch. In this area, Cameron House is the best accommodated option. Newly refurbished and newly opened after the terrible fire of 2017. My last must-see destination in Scotland is Skye and the raw Western Highlands. This area is probably the Scotland of your imagination. For fans of Outlander, this is undoubtedly where you want to be. If you have the time, then getting across to the Isle of Skye is well worth it. But Portree, the main town there, can get pretty busy with busloads of tourists. So again, if you're concerned about crowds, then you can stick to the mainland and still get a sense of the beauty and the history of the Highlands. On the west coast of Scotland, you can experience some magnificent wildlife. Puffins, seals, dolphins, a visit to the Loch Ness Monster to see if he's in, and for Harry Potter fans, you'll want to ride on or see the Hogwarts Express, crossing the Glenfinnan Viaduct. It's very dramatic. Once again, in this area, there are many castles and distilleries to visit. Eileen Donan Castle being the most iconic, most recognisable and most photographed castle in Scotland. If you've seen Braveheart, Rob Roy, Outlander or any James Bond movie set in Scotland, you will have seen this castle. Inverlochy Castle or Isle of Skye hotels would be my must-stays in this area. I think it goes without saying that planning for trips post-COVID are going to be different. We'd suggest planning well in advance, as soon as possible, because once states and borders open up again, there will be a mad rush. I think we're all keen to get travelling again. And with hotels not operating at full capacity, in order to keep us safe, there will be limited availability. If you're concerned about planning a trip now with the uncertainty of the future, please be rest assured that we are making everything as flexible as possible so that if the trip can't take place as planned, that we can cancel this very easily or postpone or move it to a more suitable time down the track. Our value as travel planners is that we have your back. We have a huge pool of resources to pull from. We know how best to navigate you from A to B with minimal or no stress. And if you're planning a trip to Scotland sometime soon, hell, some of us even speak the language. We hope to work with you soon. Keep well. Sláinte.